Yo, what's going on?
The back pew.
We got so much to talk about this week.
You know,
We can unpack like these conversations. You can see a pedicure.
You would do.
Depends on his feet.
That could be my own street.
what's up? What's up, Tam? We in person. We not back conversations. What's going on? This
The Tim and Tam Talks. He be doing this stuff all the time. You here? Go ahead and click that follow, subscribe button. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We everywhere.
Yo, we everywhere. Like literally, we everywhere. Yo, what's going on? Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Back Pew Conversations. I'm your co-host, Tim.
And I'm Tam. How are you, Tim?
Hey, Tam. It's been a while. How you doing, sis?
It's been forever, but I'm doing good. Happy to be back. Let's get into it. I'm so excited to be back.
I'm super excited to be back. I'm very excited to be back with you. And I know for a fact we are super excited to have you guys back. Welcome back to the Back Pew Podcast with your boy Tim and your girl Tam. We have a great show on tap for y'all tonight. So please join the conversation. Comment below. That's how we keep it interactive, keep it fresh for you guys. So we are just excited about that. Also, last but not least, please follow, subscribe, like on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Like we said, we are everywhere. So we ready to get this going. Anything else you got to say, Tam?
Hey, sis. Thanks for watching.
Hey, baby.
Why do you say it like that all the time? I'm just like, get a room.
What? I love my wife. What can I say? Hey, and appreciate her being one of our biggest supporters on here, you know?
I'm here for it, but I feel away. All right, let's get into it, y'all. So it looks like the first topic of this evening is Megan Thee Stallion performs at Kamala Harris's rally out in Atlanta. What are our thoughts around that? Tim, was there a video for this or just are we talking about it?
We have a video on this. So if you have not seen yet, about 6 days ago, Vice President Harris had a rally in Atlanta, and she had none other than Megan Thee Stallion performing at her rally. So y'all take a look at this.
Now I know my ladies in the crowd love their body. Real hot girls. And if you want to keep loving your body, you know who to go for. Hey! 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 Yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wavy. Yeah. Body crazy, curvy, wavy. Look at how I body that. Ate it up and gave it back. Yeah, you look good, but they still wanna know. See me in that dress and he felt like he almost tasted that. Num, eat it up. Go play okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest, you ain't never got it. I'm present when I'm...
Well, that was interesting to say the least. I would like to know your thoughts, my black sister. What's up?
Wow, it's the irony. Okay, so first of all, I don't know why you pitched this to me because you know I'm about to be like anti whatever I'm about to do in a second. Okay, so first and foremost, this was Kamala's first rally to announce that she was nominated to be the president-elect, right? So this is the first introduction that we see for Kamala Harris, and I thought this was so out of place. I thought she was pandering. I don't know, her team was pandering. Somebody was pandering, no different from what Trump was doing when he got Amber Rose to go out and talk about him. I think both of them are pandering. I feel like there's a time and there's a place for everything. People enjoy Megan Thee Stallion. I understand she was there. Maybe she got a check. Okay. But I'm not really blaming Megan Thee Stallion. I'm blaming Kamala Harris's team for not taking this a little bit more serious. And one, I want to say take it a little bit more serious because You are the first Black nominee to be potentially our president. People already don't take you serious. And this is your first introduction, and you're further perpetuating that stereotype of why women shouldn't be president. Okay. So, and then the second piece of that is just, girl, you should just know better. You should just know better. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, it was for the kids. School is out. School is out. If you look at the crowd, there were a lot more other races there outside of just Black people. Let's be honest. So if you would try to pander to a certain demographic, that demographic wasn't even fully all the way there. But that wasn't, we weren't there to hear a concert. I wasn't trying to hear a concert. We were trying to hear what she had to say as to why she wants our vote. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, this is what they need to do in order to get the young people attention. But you were young once, Tim. Did they need to do this in order to get your vote back then or today? At any point in your life, did they need to go shake a tail feather to get your vote? And I just think people don't realize we just want to know the truth. If you just give us the truth, give us the ability, despite our age. My child, this will be her first year in voting. She just wants to know what you're gonna do. She ain't worried about no Megan Thee Stallion. So it's like a lot of grown folks saying, "Oh, that's what kids want." No, that's what you want because you haven't matured yet. That's all I got, Tim. What you got?
You asked the question if it was necessary to. Hey, Candace, how you doing? Welcome back to the back pew. Was it necessary? Heck no. It was not necessary, not one bit, to get the young conservative votes. It wasn't necessary to do. I think everything that you said was spot on, even from her team above all needs to be reprimanded for this. Right. Because what it did was illuminated every single stereotype of a Black woman on how hated the Black woman is in America. Let's keep it real. The Black woman is hated because she's most feared. And so they're already perpetuating negative things about her because it honestly feels like it really is a campaign that's being put on the fly. It really, like, you can see the campaign is just, it's like being done on the fly. You can tell, because with more thought, with more consideration, Megan Thee Stallion should not have been the first person to represent you at a rally. Just not necessary, but you did every stereotype in the book, from using the city of Atlanta, which we already know, the home of Freaknik. You want to bring out the twerking queen out in the city of Freaknik, and you don't think that there's not going to be any repercussions from that? So to me, that doesn't make any sense. That's the team, because the problem is, and we're going to see in the next video when it comes to Kamala Harris, is that Kamala Harris doesn't really know who she wants to be when it comes to this election and campaign. She really doesn't. And I'm not dissuading anybody from voting against her. I'm not saying that. But what you're going to see, in addition to how the campaign started, is it's being put on the fly. It's really being put in last minute. And that's a shame for the American people like us, who have to thoroughly make a choice and decision on who to vote for in one of the most critical and crucial elections that our American people will have to endure and go through. And this is a very crucial time in American history where so many things, including Project 2025, is well underway when it comes to people planning those things. And so I didn't really like how it started off for her, using Megan Thee Stallion to represent her. You could have used Beyonce and it would have been a tad bit better. You know what I'm saying? It would have been better. But to use Megan Thee Stallion, it wasn't a good look. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
That's to, I guess, the next topic then, Tim. Kamala Harris is Indian. What?
So, like I said, we are seeing different things when it comes to identity, when it comes to Kamala Harris. And so I'm just going to play the next video. And so I know it's like, what are you talking about? Check this next video out and you be the judge on this yourself.
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the
Uh-huh.
supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know, Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food.
Y'all, Kamala, you done sat up here. You done sat up here and told us you were black. But here you are talking about you were raised as Indian. So and then you lied and said you used to wash your collard greens in the bathtub. Girl, you just told this woman you grew up off of Indian food. So I doubt your Indian family taught you how to wash collard greens in the bathtub. Y'all, listen, I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you support. Don't let this woman play in your face talking about she black when we clearly got the evidence that she ain't black. She even said it. She said she Indian. She was raised as South Asian and Indian. But you black too? Why come you didn't correct her and say you are Indian and black?
Why the long face?
I'm just so annoyed. I agree with you, Shanika. First and foremost, why does her race matter so much? And it's just, is her race going to discredit that she is still in position to be potentially the next president? And I get so annoyed here, Tim, because a lot of us have other things that we're mixed with. I myself, I have Native American, but I never really say I'm Native American. I say I'm black.
Absolutely.
Let me be very, very honest. And if someone were to say I'm Native American, I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm not. No, I'm just black. I'm not. I mean, and if somebody calls me black and not Native American, I'm not gonna correct them and say, well, I'm this, I'm that, and this. I'm just not going to do that. So if she wants to lean on to one side of her heritage from her mom rather than her dad in a moment, or if she wants to lean on the heritage of her dad rather than her mom in a moment, that is completely fine. We clearly know that her dad is Jamaican. We clearly know that. Mm-hmm. We clearly know that her mom is Indian. So all this extra stuff to try to discredit her race and make it about her race and say she's pandering about something she couldn't control because she didn't get her mom and dad together to do what they needed to do for her to be here. Like, she can't control those things. So I don't think she should have to advertise that she's always just black or she's just simply black and deny her mom, like, or her family. Imagine how her family would feel every time somebody called her Indian. She said, no, I'm black. Imagine how her family would feel when she came home for dinner. That to me, I don't know. It's just crazy. So for this dude with this MAGA hat, I know we can say all the time that we don't care who people vote for. This guy was clearly trying to dissuade Black people from voting for her, to try to discredit her background, something that she can't control, allow her to be what she is. She is also Indian. I mean, she is. So I don't understand it, Tim. What you got?
What's up, Shanika? Thanks for coming through. Race doesn't matter much as far as who she is. Okay. So, Shanika, even when you ask that question, why does her race matter so much? For me, it doesn't matter from the standpoint of based off of who she is. She's mixed. at the end of the day, she's mixed. We're all mixed with something in some way, shape, or form. That even half of us, if we really go back and look, we all probably need to go and do an ancestry test, ancestry.com test, to see all the different combinations on who we are. Playing devil's advocate for a minute. The only thing that I would say, or someone else would think, is don't be black on Monday, don't be Indian on Tuesday, don't be XYZ based on, don't change your audience, or don't change your message based on your audience. Be the same as you are. Your message needs to be as you are, because here it is, you are relating to people of your race, rather being black, rather being Indian, rather being Asian. You're relating to them. But you will also have some people saying, okay, she only is using these different cards to get my vote when she has not done anything to really earn my vote. But only thing you're only saying is you want my vote based off of relatability, off of that, based off of what I can do for what can I do for you when I'm in that space, because I've had 4 years, 3.5 going on 4 years to prove that I'm for all races and all the people, everybody. So that's from a devil's advocate perspective. Just from a relatability standpoint, what are you going to do and stick by in order to get my vote?
I don't think that's fair, honestly, Tim. It's safe to say, because it was like a lot of us don't lean heavily, prominently on both sides of whatever we're mixed with. And I think it's just a slippery slope not to want to advocate for what you are, whether it's black, whether it's Indian. And those different needs for the black community versus an Indian community are very different. And I think we have a problem, especially with the black community. We say y'all always lumping everybody in with us. We can't never have nothing. Y'all always have that. And the moment let me make this message specifically for black people. Let me make this message specifically for Indian people. Y'all like, no, don't switch it up. How dare you switch it up? Like, it's like you can't please everybody. You just can't please everybody. And I think it would be difficult if we ourselves had one Indian parent and one black parent to try to make sure that not only are we supporting America as a whole, but we're supporting the foundation of who we are, the people, our community as a whole as well. So I think, it's going to be a slippery slope, but I think she's going to be able to navigate it. She's navigated it well outside of the pandering. But I think she has a lot of work to do when it comes to being able to communicate a message as far as like what she can do better than Trump. I don't think people even care. I think a lot of people don't want Trump in office. So I think if she was like, I'm just going to get in there and play Nintendo 64 every day, people are like, okay, cool. As long as we ain't got nobody trying to, shoot us, I'm good. So a lot of people don't care, but I think even if people are voting for Kamala just because they don't want Trump, even though I don't think that's necessarily the right thing to do, I think you should vote based on the facts. I do feel like, I'm going to say this because I just feel like it should be said, that should not be the only vote that matters in this election. I will say that there are 468 seats that are up for election or re-election this year. And I don't think a lot of people pay attention to what's going on in the Senate or the House. So those are, the things that you guys care about, the things about those laws that you feel like aren't Christian, or those laws that you feel like are impeding on your rights. All of those sit on the legislative branch. They don't sit on the executive branch, not for Trump, not for Kamala. They sit on these people that y'all don't even be thinking about. Y'all are online arguing about Kamala and Trump all day, but y'all don't even pay attention to those people that are making laws behind your back. And then y'all blame the president. Oh, that happened under Trump. Oh, that happened under Bill Clinton. I don't know. I'm just naming stuff. But y'all have to pay attention to what's happening in the Senate seats, and then for the House of Representatives, those guys. So all the Project 2025 and all of that stuff, those or from people that may potentially be sitting in those seats. I mean, as I've known it, Tim, that's from a third party. No person sitting in those seats is actually backing that, but I know everybody has their own agenda. That's why I just want to make sure I'm promoting people need to be educated and informed when it comes to voting, and not just voting every 2 years when it's a presidential election, voting every or 4 years, but voting every 2 years. Guys, voting every single 2 years to make sure that if things are not happening, if you ain't getting benefits where you need to get them, if you feel like they spending too much foreign money, giving people money, don't wait till there's a presidential election so you can say, well, Trump won't do that. No, the people in the House and Senate will, though. They will very much spend the money that belongs to your grandparents while you're sitting in here just voting on your presidential elections every 4 years. So they will very much spend your Social Security that you're working hard for. You're like, why are they taking all this money? Guess what? If you don't vote every 2 years, they will continue to take all of your money. And of course, you will have no say because you don't even vote. So those are the things that I'm really concerned about, not race, not honestly even Trump or Kamala. I'm more concerned of what's going on in the U.S. Congress, those types of things, those people that are making these laws behind our back that we don't agree with. The people that won't support Black people. Everybody else has these laws to protect them, but Black people who have suffered so much in this country have still yet to be protected. When we see certain things like what happened to the young lady getting shot in her home for rebuking somebody in the name of Jesus, like to create a law where police may have immunity from doing stuff scares me. It scares me. So I just want people to be more informed on the legislative branch of government and not just the executive. I know I was preachy. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. We're going to get into a couple of these comments here. Shanika says, can we have a moment of the Black history the Republicans are trying to erase? Half of us Black/African Americans are mixed with European, Indian, white, etc. Very true. Very true. Ali says, I get that. And she also says that some of Kamala's actions and things don't come off as genuine or authentic. It's a fair assessment. Shanika also says, everyone keeps saying, what has she done? Please tell me the rap sheet of previous VPs. Please, that would make you feel they've done anything for the people. There's some validity to that. No, but there's another side to that too. When you go for a promotion on your job, you do have to show, what have you done for me? And so she wants a promotion. She wants to be promoted from VP to president. We do have a right to ask, what have you done for the American people over the past 3.5, 4 years? That's a fair question to ask. So yeah, and we could have said the same thing about Biden too. Same thing, the same question you can ask him when he was in that vice presidency seat. So but I get both sides of it, like both sides from the fact that, yeah, really, what have VPs done? The spotlight's not on them as much, but I think from the standpoint, it's not fair that the spotlight's on her work as much as any other VP, but that's just the world we live in right now. Shanika also thanks you, Tam. Thank you. Everyone's worried about her, but sleeping on the seats of the Congress, and Republicans want to extend their time, which is where truly the focus should be as well. The focus should definitely be on those seats, those 468 seats that Tam mentioned. We have to make sure that we get those seats that are based on your values, your morals, and the laws that you want to see implemented in place. And so 100% agree with you, Shanika, and Tam for that matter. Peter says, what's up, Peter? He says, I'm worried about the powder keg that is our country. I'm hoping that no matter who wins, there will be a peaceful transfer of power and not another January 6th. Absolutely. I speak for everybody and agree with you. We do not want to see another January 6th in place. But our country is so divided that you just never know what to expect. We really are, from a biblical and Christian aspect, we are living in the end times. And so, anything can happen. And so we hope for the best, but you have to, and pray for the best, but you have to also prep for some things as well.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, despite who you vote for, You can't stop the end times. It's gonna happen. Okay. I think people vote sometimes and they think, oh, he's the antichrist. I'm not doing this. And I'm just like, it honestly, listen, religion is not wrapped in politics and politics is not wrapped in religion. People is just certain people that are in these seats. Some of them might be believers, some of them are not. And I wouldn't honestly, Tim, it's based on your faith all the time, because you're voting for people who may not necessarily be living the faith. They might hold the Bible in their hand, but are they actually living it? So we just have to be mindful to, weaponize our religion with politics. And I would say just be nonpartisan. Like Tim was saying, like vote for the person that has your best interest, your family's best interest. And sometimes that can look like it's across the aisle. You don't have to vote straight Democrat or straight Republican. Make sure you guys are voting the person, not the party. And when I say that, that means you have to actually independently look at the person and see what their standards are. If you vote based on faith, make sure that they're a believer, because there's some Democrats out here that love Jesus and there's some Republicans out here that don't love Jesus. and that's just the reality of it. But the uniformity of it would make you believe that all Republicans are Christian and all Democrats are wayward, and that's just not the truth. You actually have to do the homework, and I know a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to believe what the media pushes out. But if you do your homework, you can find the person that represents your state or your city well and represents what you would like to progress as far as your community, those types of things that are really important, without you having to compromise so much with a straight party ticket, because you're going to compromise a lot of things on a straight party ticket. If you're a believer and they out here voting stuff that is against the Bible, that's what a straight party ticket is going to get you. So look across the aisle and make sure you're doing the homework when you're voting, guys.
100%. Thank you, Tam.
I think Peter said that dog sounds like a whole full-size wolf monster.
Very much so. Very much so. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into the next topic. Tim, women have to protect their man?
Yes, I would love to hear your thoughts on this next video. So just take a listen to what this brother had to say and let me know your thoughts.
Men judge men based off their woman. If a guy comes in and his woman is stunning and she looks beautiful and classy, all of a sudden, I'm like, what does that guy do?
Facts.
Who is that guy? If a woman is showcasing some level of disrespect to her man, I have less respect for that man. That man gets talked about behind his back. That man gets invited to less places. That woman may even get more advances from people that he called his friends. Women have to protect their men. So much of it comes down to how she is when he's not around. A lot of times women think, hey, if I'm not right with my man, there's certain things that I can do because I want to do this with my girls or because this is how I feel. Women must consider at all times, is this the right thing to do if my man was around? And if it's not, then it's best not to do it.
I would love to hear your thoughts on that video.
First of all, I'm very much confused. Was this video supposed to be profound? I'm so lost. If the notion is, if my man is not here, I should still carry myself in a way that respects him. Is that the narrative that he was trying?
That's the narrative.
He said a whole lot of nothing to get to that, and I'm very much confused. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. I support their podcast, but he said a whole bunch of nothing to get to that, and honestly, that's not a huge epiphany. Like if you're in a relationship, especially if you're married. Yeah, you should carry yourself and respect yourself and respect your mate, despite them being in your presence. And that's just honoring who you're with, right? That's just honoring your vows, So he didn't say anything that blew my mind, but I think he tried to make it seem like, okay, well, how she carries herself is going to make the man more respected. Is that what the notion was, Tim?
That was a part of it. That was another part of it.
confused.
He said a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Level 2. I'm just like, is it respect or is it the way she looks?
Yeah, because he said if I look at a woman and I see she's like put together and she's beautiful and put together, I'm instantly thinking, what does that man do? Okay, so let's dive into that real quick. So he's instantly looking at, we're saying that hypothetically, this man is with a fine woman. And the first thing he's going to think is, what does he do? He must have, so it sounds like he must have some type of high paying job based off of how the woman looked. Because that's what he's thinking, it sounds like. Just from how that comes out, he's thinking, what does that man do? So based on the quality look of a woman, that matters. That's what I caught from that. And to me, it doesn't make any sense.
So basically, he saw a sugar daddy with a young woman, and he was like, why is she with him? He must be a billionaire. I wonder what he does.
I mean, it kind of came off like that.
It started very vain, and then it ended very like common sense. So I'm very much confused, Tim. And women have to protect their man. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
No,
like,
and
shouldn't it be men have to protect their women? I'm so confused with this sentence, right? I'm like pointing to the screen. I'm like, what is this? What?
The man said that. He said women have to protect their man, and which, yes, that is backwards. But then
2024,
also,
everybody, 2024.
If y'all looking at who actually said this, check out the brother on the podcast, Hardly Initiated.
Yeah.
It's the light skin.
Hardly Initiated.
I don't know his name, but either way, my man said women have to protect their man when that's not what God called us to do. Called women to do. He called men
that.
Yeah, so that's the first thing that God called it. He called us to protect, number one, but I didn't like it because I feel like with, like you said, married people or anybody in a relationship, you both have to conduct yourself in a way that's respectful outside of when you are with that person. So I should just have integrity, even if I'm not around my wife. If I'm not with my wife, I still need to be conducting myself the same way as if she was in front of me. She should conduct herself the same way as if she were in front of me and not in front of me. That's how a relationship, just respect. That's just, so he didn't say anything that was profound. He said a lot of confusing things. And that's why I wanted y'all to hear that video, was like, did it make sense to you? Did it make sense? You know, but it still was a good message at the end. He just took a little minute to get to it.
Was it?
Thank you. And absolutely. Thank you, sir. All right. What we got next, Tim?
Lord Jesus, help us.
On to the next topic. Since women can't protect the man, why do women intimidate men?
I just want to point out these topics. These are not, I did not pick these topics tonight. It was not me. So the thug warriors that be commenting on the page, it wasn't me this time. Okay.
We'd like to thank our content writers for.
There you go.
We'd like to thank our content writers for tonight's show.
Lord, help us. All right. Why do women intimidate men? Is this just a general question?
Well, here's a question. Do women intimidate men, Tam? Have you ever witnessed with your own two eyes a woman intimidate a man? Have you ever witnessed that? I'm curious.
I am stuttering. I think yes, I have witnessed it, but it's not like an all the time occurrence. I think some women can intimidate men when they feel like what the woman has or her upbringing might be a little bit what word do I want to use, Tim? I'm trying to be PG. When she might have a little bit more possessions in life or more education, or maybe she grew up with both mom and dad in the home and he just grew up with his mom or whatever the case may be. So I think when someone hasn't healed, isn't whole, or that puts material things over basically everything, when you have something, that can intimidate a lot of people, men included. And men can be jealous, and men can be in relationship and be jealous with you. They can absolutely say I love you and still be jealous that you got your promotion at work. They could say I love you and marry you and still be jealous that you can call your dad and your mom at the same time. Like, people can just, be intimidated by what you have, and you might not even think nothing of it. So yeah, I think some men can be intimidated by women, but I don't think all men are. I think very confident, self-aware, healed men are not intimidated by women, no matter if she makes $1 million and he makes 30,000. If you're just a confident man, you're a confident man. There are a lot of guys out here that are completely fine in the skin that they're in.
Absolutely. Okay. So I hear one side of it, which is men are intimidated by women because of how they might have grown up. Their socioeconomic status might be intimidating. Their experiences growing up in a two-parent household can be intimidating. Having education can be intimidating. So I hear all of those things, and I agree from that standpoint that can be intimidating to men. But I also want to go back to what you said, which was you actually saw it. You saw the intimidation. So what did it look like when you saw a woman intimidate a man?
What did it look like?
Yeah. What did the woman do to intimidate the man? Because you said that it was an intimidate. It was something.
I've intimidated men before, and I didn't do anything. I was just naturally being my normal, natural self. And I appreciate what Peter said, because even your purpose can intimidate somebody. You can just be naturally doing what God told you to do, and people would just be intimidated by you. And guess what? You might be scared doing what God told you to do. You telling God you don't even want to do it, but guess what? They intimidated by your gift. Meanwhile, you telling God to take it away. So people just, I don't know. People are people. Let me get into what Peter said before I dive into it a little bit more, Tim. He said, I think women have become more purpose-filled and driven in the recent generations. A lot of men don't know how to compliment a woman who knows who she is and what she wants and where she's going. I believe that. I believe that
too, but there's another part of this as well.
Where you always being devil's advocate.
Could there be, is it possible that there are women out there that display a lack of femininity?
Ooh.
That may intimidate a man, because if I'm a man, I'm not using me as an example. I'm just saying since I am a man, a straight heterosexual man wants a woman. And if you get in a woman, you want that soft woman. You want a soft woman, not just on the outside, on the inside too. You want a soft, mushy woman who can live a soft life, which means displaying femininity, right?
Yeah.
What if you got a sister who was raised by 5 brothers and mom wasn't around, and so the lack of femininity is inadvertent at that point? Because that's possible too. You could live. Hey, I know some. I hate to put y'all on Front Street like this. I know some Baltimore chicks that's more G than some dudes I know, straight up. And that's great. Like, they know how to turn it on. They know how to be feminine, and they know how to pull the masculinity out. But sometimes there's women out there that don't know how to turn it off either. So what do you say from a man who might have experienced a lack of femininity with a woman?
I mean, tell me what scripture that applies to. I'm just like, I feel like a woman should not pull a man out of his walk, his stature. Like, you're a man. I don't care how the woman is. To me, I don't feel like a man should pull a woman, pull himself out of his own stature. So you try to sell maybe because she's not as feminine. You're intimidated. I don't know. Like, and then that also applies to Tim. We got to think about it. There are a ton of women. We talked about this previously. A ton of women who are bosses and CEOs and entrepreneurs who are no nonsense. Right? So are you intimidated because she's not Susie Homemaker?
I think intimidation, it depends on how you see those situations.
Yeah.
It's no problem having a no-nonsense woman who is career-driven, goal-oriented, who is a CEO of a corporation, an entrepreneur, a businesswoman. Those things are great, right? And as a man, what it should do is it's going to spark some pressure. It's going to put some pressure on you to keep stepping your game up. So we as men,
or it's going to make you jealous.
Or it's going to make, no, I'm telling you, it should motivate. It's there to the actions of that woman are there to motivate. Okay. Like we should be motivating each other. A man should be motivating a woman. He should be teaching. They should be learning from one another. Like that's how it should be, right? But we still need to look at the fact that if we're talking about intimidation, we as men, we gotta kind of shift the mindset, because you hear a lot of men saying, like that woman intimidates me or something like that based on some things. And I'm telling you that I think that men, we can just change our focus and change the shift a little bit. Not that it's her fault.
That's so crazy to me. I've never heard a man say he was intimidated by a woman. Sure. And I've seen him, maybe seen a guy show it. I ain't never seen no guy admit to that ever. But I don't know. I think it takes a special kind of man to be intimidated by a special kind of woman. And I know for certain it happens, and it kind of is what it is. Those people are not meant to be.
You see, Peter put he got a paragraph here. He put a story out here, y'all. He says, I think that women are finding themselves in previously male-dominated spaces, which may require them to stow submissiveness or femininity. If a man witnesses her in the spaces, he may assume she's like that full time, but that doesn't mean she won't be feminine with you at home. It depends on where and how you're seeing her. Women have to be more mentally versatile than men do to move between spaces. Just I have LOL. They are out here, sis. Yeah.
Hallelujah. Yeah. Listen, that was a whole sermon, Peter. Whole sermon. And I 1000% agree what he said. We literally have to be chameleons, and we never do it right. We can't do nothing right. can't do nothing right. Okay? Can't do nothing right. We gotta be a Jack and a Jill of all trades. And it's hard to find balance in that. It's so hard to be a woman and to find balance in being all of those things that we have to be. It would be different if we could just be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't. So it just kind of is what it is. So I don't know. Let's move on, Tim. Let's move on.
Okay. He told his wife, what? Man, let me tell you, this man was bold to say what he said to his wife. Y'all really are going to enjoy this one.
It smells good in here, girl. What you in here doing?
Making your favorite taco salad for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, but I didn't tell you?
Tell me what?
You ain't got to do that. Yeah, no, we good on that. Yeah,
you getting y'all food tomorrow?
Well, not exactly, but you good on that. You get a day off, you good,
But babe, you don't have to get takeout if I'm cooking you lunch.
Well, I'm not.
This is your favorite.
Well, I'm not getting takeout. it's not exactly takeout.
Okay.
This girl at my job, not like that. Calm down.
Girl at your job, okay.
She's supposed to be bringing me some food tomorrow, but it's not like that. It's,
and you told her no because you're married, right? And your wife is gonna cook you lunch.
Do you know what she cooking me? Yeah, I'm not passing up.
Care.
I'm not passing up barbecue ribs for nobody. Sure.
If you wanted barbecue ribs, I could have cooked you barbecue ribs.
Why
or
do that?
I could have got it takeout from your favorite restaurant a block away from your job.
That's a good point. We do that next week, but
no.
But I'm not passing up on free barbecue ribs.
So you're gonna let another woman cook for you when your wife is at home cooking for you?
How
does that make sense?
Well, but I'm not the one that suggested it. Calm down.
And you could have declined it. That's disrespectful as hell.
You expect me to decline barbecue ribs, beef ribs?
Your ass is that fat that you can't decline barbecue ribs from another woman?
Hell, babe, with the mashed potatoes and the peas, and she.
Are married people really having these kind of conversations?
Married people, I don't know. In my house, we're not having that conversation. There's no need.
Okay, let's get into this nonsense. Lord, every day I'm so grateful to be single. All right, so I think it's nonsense. I'm not on the woman's side. Let me be honest. I'm just not. What's the difference between somebody bringing him ribs and it's a potluck versus just somebody bringing ribs? I don't know. It's just food to me. I don't know. People gonna say, food is the gateway to the soul and the stomach and the heart, and that it's just food. Okay, all right. It's just food. He didn't have to be. If this were a real scenario, he didn't have to be honest. He could have just been like, took the food and still ate the ribs. I don't really care what you eat at work. I've cooked for my coworkers. My coworkers have cooked for me. Okay. And I don't see it as a big deal, but there again, I'm single, so none of this applies. What you got, Tim?
I'm glad you said you single.
Listen,
that is a single response, okay? A single response to that. I cook for anybody. That's cool. When you married,
you can't cook for anybody when you married. What you gonna do when you have a potluck?
A potluck is different because you are cooking for the entire team. I am not specifically going to cook for another woman at work.
Okay, so what if you bring it for more than one person?
If you bring it for the team, if it is a plan, if it's a Christmas party, prime example, I'm cooking for the whole team.
If it's leftover, what if you made too much and your coworker asked you about your ribs one time, you made extra. He was like, Susie did say she wanted to try my ribs and I made extra. I'ma bring them away.
She can have them the next time I make ribs, when I make the ribs for the whole team. But I'm not just she could say it, hey, I made you ribs, or I got ribs at home. I'm just going to pass them to Susie just because I got them at home. No.
You ain't never, okay, y'all ain't never been to work and your coworker bought some. You was like, what is that? I want some. And they was like, oh, this mine. I don't know. This is my favorite dish. And you're like, man, let me have some. I ate it all. But the next time I make some, I'm going to bring you some. Bye. You bring your coworker some because you said the next time you make some. Is that a big deal? I don't understand what the big deal is.
With a good heart, it might not be a big
Allie,
No, hold on.
Allie.
Man, okay. But you got to look at the perception of things at times now. You can't just do things out of the goodness of your heart nowadays. You got to look at the perception. And the perception is, that meant that over the weekend, let's just say hypothetically on Monday, I take Susie those same ribs that I made. That meant I thought about Susie over the weekend. If I thought about Susie over the weekend, that means Susie knows I thought about her over the weekend, which means that she gonna think, oh, I might have a chance. And while you say it's not the gateway, food ain't the gateway to it, but the perception is the gateway.
You thought about Susie over the weekend. This is just too much. If this is what relationship stuff is, this is stupid. will never sign up for this nonsense ever. Do not sign me up ever. I don't want no parts of it. We're arguing about my coworker bringing me a burger. No. What if they used to be a chef? Okay. And they wanted to bring this. I got to tell you, no, because no, they won't let me eat your shrimp salad. Okay. I can't have it. I don't want to disrespect my relationship with this shrimp salad because you clearly thought about me over the weekend, bringing me this shrimp salad.
Really?
That's crazy.
By bringing you, and I put a little bow on it too. I was thinking about you.
This is nonsense. Okay. Peter says if someone was cooking for me and my wife found out, she'd be cooking for the kids and leaving me out talking about, oh, you hungry? Why don't you call Susan from work?
See? Nah, man. Ain't worth it. Ain't worth it.
I was just like, I don't get it. I think just for me, whenever I get married, I think I would trust my spouse enough to know that that's not cheating to me. I don't care about that stuff. So hopefully I'm with somebody that doesn't worry about the nonsense. I don't care. Nonsense. It's like if they bring you a kolache and a donut, you're like, no, well, I have extra. No, I can't have it. My wife would. She knew I took your donut hole. I'll be on the couch tonight. No, this is just too much for me.
Now, how you presented that was one thing. If somebody brings in something for the entire team, of course I'm gonna be like, oh,
they might not be cool with the entire team. They might just be cool with you. Y'all kiki at work all day, and they just want to bring you something, one of their special dishes. Okay. I don't know.
So, Allie got a good question. So, when you get married, can your husband buy someone else lunch?
Y'all ain't never bought y'all coworkers lunch. Y'all are horrible coworkers.
No, I mean, if it was like three of us, I'll get the bill this time, and then the other one will get the bill next time, and we will alternate from that standpoint.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Yes, my husband could buy somebody else lunch if he so decides to buy somebody lunch. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Is it like a secret lunch? Is it like an intimate dinner?
No.
Okay, so are they in the break room?
But if it's a one, okay, so then that begs the question: should a married person be going out with a single coworker? Let's just say this, or
should a married person go out with a single? I don't know. Depends on your relationship.
Okay.
What's your spouse think?
My spouse?
Yeah, I mean, not you in general, but I'm just like, what would their spouse think? Like, yeah, I don't care about this stuff. Okay. I'm a person I'm with. Listen, I'm a trust husband, whoever he is.
Allie said you are a sweet woman.
I know her. I know her ribs ain't gonna swoon him. They don't make him leave. The ribs. I knew it was first love at first bite. That's what y'all think is gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen.
Nah. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get into something a tad bit serious because this is the Pew Podcast, and sometimes we got to get a tad bit serious because we are not only about the laughs and the jokey jokes and everything, but we also gotta, we about the serious stuff too. And so, I'm gonna pose a question for y'all tonight. If this is applicable to you in any way, but prior to that, looks like Peter had a comment about ribs. Those
crazy.
Ribs were good though. So, but we're gonna get a little deep. So, if this applies to you, Tim, when did you find out, or how did you find out you as a child?
When I went to therapy. Like a couple, maybe 5 years ago. And it wasn't like I'm not gonna downplay what it was either. So it wasn't like my parents locked me in the closet or any crazy thing like that. But my parents were very much old school when it came to like discipline, for sure. And my mom was very vocal, very vocal back in the day. So a lot of the things that she used to say used to play on my mental, and I didn't realize it until I got older. So the jovial, unafraid to talk person that you guys see today is not who I've always been. Honestly, this version of myself is fairly new. So for those that actually know me in real life outside of just like social media, they know that I've always been pretty quiet. I never really used to say anything, and never really wanted to say anything, if I'm being honest with you, Tim. Because when I was younger, my mom had always been the loudest person in the room, and her voice and the fear that I had for her silenced me, muffled me, stifled me. And once I started going to therapy, I started to unpack like verbal abuse, what that was, emotional abuse, what that was, and the things that, when somebody does something, they be like, "Oh, that's just who they are. Oh, that's just your mama, or that's just your auntie." I think in the Black community, we often give passes for things that are really trauma filled and trauma induced, and we pass it off as normal, and we say, "Oh, well, that's just who they are." Or well, them, that's how they act. But at the meantime, it's wearing on your mental. At the meantime, it's killing something inside of you, and it could be killing your purpose. Like, I could never do what I do today had I not went to therapy. And what I do today, I know I help and I impact so many people. And I don't do it because I want to do it, but I do it because God has called me to do it. And I think that trauma that we often don't address when we're young and will become adults, those stifle us from our purpose. It stifles us from our gift and what we were called and created to do. So for me, I found out when I was being abused a couple years ago. And after I found out, I had to have a come to Jesus with both of my parents, which was not easy. Around like how they talk to me, how they talk to my kids, what they're not going to say to me, what they're not going to say to my kids, how they're not going to affect my kids in certain ways that they affected me. And that was a difficult conversation. I still got Black parents. Okay. It was
right.
Listen, they didn't turn no other color. They still Black. So yeah, it was a very difficult conversation, but it came with me creating a boundary, not to hurt my parents or say that they were the worst parents, because my parents were not. Like, they worked really hard and they loved me, and I know they loved me. But sometimes even as parents, we don't always do the right thing. We do the thing that is passed down. So when I started to talk to my mom, so why'd you say stuff like this? Why'd you do stuff like that? Well, my daddy did it to me. My mama did it to me. So that's just what I knew to do. That's how they discipline me. So that's how I'm disciplining you. So sometimes your parents can create these traumas and curses and not even know that they're passing things down that they should have let go. And once I realized there were some things, that happened to me that I had to let go because I don't want my kids to be stifled from the gifts that God had given them, it caused me to want to address what happened. And I've become the woman that you guys see today. So what about you, Tim?
Shout out to you for recognizing when you were abused and going through therapy, knowing those things. So, hey, how you doing? Thanks for stopping through. But to come to that realization, most recently in this part of your life is truly inspiring, for sure. So shout out to you for all of the work that you've done and continue to do as you've gotten over those mental hurdles that you talked about. Our stories, the reason why it's amazing how God put us together through Church Boy with childhood trauma, it's absolutely amazing. I tell people all the time, I feel like you and I were brothers and sisters in another life in some way, shape, or form, because we share a lot of parallels to our story. And that is a parallel that I have definitely experienced when it comes to more, not so much the physical abuse, although that was there at times. You know, I would get beat with a piece of fence of our fence post and put duct tape around it. And my father would beat me so bad, I would think that the whole neighborhood could hear me. And so, experienced that kind of trauma and pain, and knew that that was something I needed to let go and not pass down to my children, that level of abuse. There's a difference between discipline and abuse, and it's a fine line that we can draw as parents sometimes. And unfortunately, that gets passed down way easier than I feel as any other generational curse. The curse of abuse can get passed down so easily and be mistaken for discipline. But that gets passed down so much because even in our history, how are we disciplined? We were disciplined through slavery. We were disciplined through abuse ourselves. So that's been generational curse passed down easily. But a lot of mine came from the psychological abuse piece. You know, the silent treatment for days when you do something wrong and you're silent around the house, it's quiet. You know, and you don't feel worthy or lovable as a child in those moments, right? A lot of things being, you know, only being able to express my emotions through anger because not feeling heard, understood, and those things, and because of the abuse that you suffer from a psychological aspect. You work through those things, and I recognize that I had those issues, I would say probably in my early 30s, I'd say, is when I recognized that that was considered abuse, more so than just discipline. So I came to that realization. I started to unpack it through counseling and therapy, just like you, so that I don't pass down the same traits to my children, and then they don't pass it down to their children. Because like you said, we all have gifts that God has given us, gifts, talents. We are light. We're salt, you know, and we have to be the best versions of ourselves. But in order to do that, we have to rid ourselves of the toxic traits that were passed down to us that we've also developed too. Our toxic behaviors, our toxic thoughts, and all those things that not only was inherited, but also developed too. So I also, from the standpoint of even when it comes to my parents, therapy has also taught me to display forgiveness, but also to put up clear boundaries as well. So the forgiveness is there because I know you loved me and you cared for me, and I was given opportunities that not every child was given. So from those standpoint, I see so many displays of love more than the displays of abuse, and we have to be mindful of those things too when we're telling our story. And so, but that stuff was there, and it did affect me, and it does affect how I parent and how I, act with my children and things like that. So I'm really grateful for, being able to go through therapy and continue to go through therapy, because now I get to be this type of man, a man operating from power and purpose as opposed to survival and struggle.
I love that. Like, I love every piece of that. I'm so honored to partner with you as we are both healing, because I think a lot of people think there's an expiration date, you just kind of stop. But I think it's just safe to say that, when you're trying to grow, you continue growing. You don't stop growing. You don't stop trying to get understanding. The Bible says, and all that, get an understanding. And even when people have done stuff to us, they may not have even realized what they were doing.
Yeah.
Listen, when I had my conversation with my mom and my dad, they were like looking at me crazy. They were like, what are you talking about? What you mean? Wasn't I there every day?
I want to dive into that really quick though, sis. We need to hear this. So how did that conversation go? I mean, that essentially is essentially you're slaying a beast.
Yeah.
Really what it's equivalent to. How is it slaying that beast with
It
your
was,
parents? Because that's tough.
yeah, it was I said tough at the same time. Yeah. It was tough. And after I had the conversation, me and my parents, we didn't talk for a little bit. Um, I had a conversation with my dad too, like things about like his level of disconnection when it came to discipline and all of these things and that happened in the house. So yeah, it was really tough. They initially felt like I was being disrespectful because basically I was calling them to the carpet as their child, and sometimes that can be difficult to call a elder essentially to the carpet. But we can't forsake our youth. We still have very much power in our voice, and we're very much human, and we have to say ouch when something hurts us, or people will continue to prick us, they continue to hurt us if we never say ouch, right? So being able to speak to my parents, confront them, or have the conversation, whatever you want to call it, was just my ability to say ouch. I don't want to hurt here anymore, and this has affected me so much that I don't want it to affect me anymore. So now I have to create a new strategy around how you handle me, because how you've been handling me has not been with care. And I know I may show up and I look like I'm fine, but I'm not fine, right? So having that conversation with them, it was very difficult. They initially didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. And we didn't talk for a little bit. If I'm being honest with you, I can't say how long it was. And then we would talk, it would be awkward, and then we wouldn't talk. And then we would have moments where we're fine, and then there would be a moment where I have to put my boundary in place and they would get upset again. So it was a learning curve. But from me having that conversation, my mom goes to therapy, my mom does her own healing. She's identified some things in her from her own upbringing that I don't know about, that had nothing to do with me or my dad, to work on herself. So creating that boundary and healing. I have a shirt on my clothing line, hey, selfish plug, but it says heal people, heal people. And I believe that, because once you're in a place of healing and you, like, for real, you're not faking and shaking. Once you actually do the work and people see that you get to thrive from doing that work, and you can create those boundaries, guess what? You can actually help somebody to do the same. And I believe that's what I was able to do, because my parents are very much just the generation of what happened in the house, stay in the house, and don't be telling those white people your business. That's what they would say to us. Like, don't be telling we have black therapists now, but back in the day, that's what they used to, tell us. Don't tell nobody your business. You go to school, don't tell them teachers everything that's happening in this household. You better not say nothing. And that causes so much generational trauma from us not being able to speak up when things are truly happening. So that same mentality of you telling your kids don't say anything, guess what happens when they get raped by your family member, your aunt, your uncle, whoever? Guess what? They're not going to say nothing. They're not even going to say nothing to you, because you conditioned them to be silent. And I just got to a place where I'm just like, I told you I was silent. I wasn't speaking. I wasn't doing nothing. I was happy in the back. Okay. I was happy cheering for people. I was happy being the shy girl. You must not have much to say. You shy? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you must be mean. You don't talk. Like I used to hear every single thing that came with not talking to anybody. And I was completely fine being that person, because guess what? I had got comfortable with my trauma. I had got comfortable with it. I had got comfortable with not speaking up for myself when people did stuff to me. I had got comfortable with it until I couldn't be comfortable anymore. And Tim, it was just a really tough conversation, but I'm grateful to have had the moment where I took a chance on myself and decided that I was going to do something different from myself, which further perpetuates the ability, like you said, to be able to raise my kids to speak up for themselves. And I teach my kids to tell me, like, now, like, you don't have to, what happened in the house don't have to stay in the house. I don't want to teach you how to be silent in this world. I don't want to teach you that. I just don't want to teach you that. So yeah, it just created this ripple effect, this chain effect of just healing. And I'm so grateful that my parents, both of them, are in a place where they got to be receptive to what I was saying, and where we have boundaries, and they treat me like an adult. I'm still very much that child. I'm always gonna be that child. And they always gonna be my parents, right? And I'm always gonna respect them as such. But they treat me now like I bleed, and I respect them even more for that.
It's good. It's good stuff. Much needed stuff. That was good. That was good. I agree with you 100%. And you are helping somebody tonight tremendously. And so thank you. You helped me, sis. Thank you. Thank you.
So, call your mama, call your daddy.
Mom, we got to.
Listen, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. Whew. Yes, y'all. So definitely keep the comments coming. Let us know your thoughts. We are really excited that you guys have just been so interactive tonight. So definitely keep it coming. But we have our last topic of the night, or last video of the night. Is being too honest a problem in a relationship? We're not going to ask Tam because she's not in a relationship. So we ain't asking her. We know what the answer is going to be.
I got the answer, though.
She does not have the answer, ladies and gentlemen. So would you be dishonest in a relationship if you were in one or are currently in one? So check this out.
Hey, babe. I almost cheated on you, but I got our food.
Why almost? You should have just cheated so I could have had a reason to leave you.
Yeah, it was this girl flirting with me at the drive-thru, and I almost forgot I was single.
Well, if all it takes is a pretty girl who make $10 an hour to get your attention, then she can have you. You should have just did it.
Come on, babe. You know if I was to ever leave you, I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm just gaslight you the whole time to think that you were doing something this whole time, and then I would leave you.
That's interesting, because it seems like you almost have something to tell me. You know, if you want to take a break, I'm all for it.
As much as that sounds great, that's not a good idea, because who else gonna go 50-50 with me on these bills?
I'm sure some other bird brain hoe would. I mean, but I am settling with you anyway, so I might as well just stick around long term.
Yeah, moving in 6 months after being together was not the best move for any of us, but the economy is shit right now, so we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah, because I realized that you was putting on a front for the first 5 months of us being together, and you not even healed from your past trauma, and I'm still here.
Exactly, because I want you to take the heat from any woman that ever hurt me in the past, because obviously I ain't got access to them anymore.
You are the epitome of niggas ain't shit, like for real.
But I guarantee you, if I was to propose to you in the next couple months, you gonna say yeah.
You got me there.
You see?
Oh my God.
You wanna have sex so we can temporarily ignore all our problems?
Yes, but don't pull out this time.
Oh, you ain't gotta tell me twice.
Okay.
What?
That's very honest. I like how he came in. He walked in. He said, "Hey, baby, I almost cheated on you," and then tried to skate past it real quick. But I got what you needed. Like, that was crazy to me.
I wish people were this honest in real life.
Would you want someone to be honest with you like that?
Yeah. I think it's only men that think women can't take honesty. I think that's their excuse for lying, be honest with you. But yeah, I wish people were really that honest. The world would be a better place if we all were that honest.
You got a point there. I actually told my wife the same thing. I would be honest. About those things. But there's still a way to say it, though.
Honestly, listen, if I was in a relationship and we were that honest, I feel like it would be the best relationship, because you don't have to guess. You literally don't have to guess about what they thinking or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Who's your wife?
I would love. I bet you would. Shoot, she has already been blunt and honest with me. This is the most honest relationship I've ever been in. Because my goodness, and sometimes it's gonna sting. It's gonna sting. It definitely makes you have like thick skin, but sometimes it's gonna hurt a little bit. But you want the truth. I'd rather somebody tell me a truth that's gonna hurt than a lie that's gonna make me feel good. So
I agree.
Peter says, I tell my wife everything. She knows all. Not because she demands it, she trusts me, except around Susan and her ribs. It's mostly because a minority of people will weaponize information about you to ruin what you have. That's true. I also respect her enough to be truthful and transparent. 100%. That's the main thing. We should give people a safe space to be truthful and transparent.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can be cool with anybody as long as they're honest with me. I cannot be cool with somebody who's a liar or somebody who's just sneaky. Like, it's just, I can't be cool with anybody like that. So, yeah, I agree.
Ooh, good question, baby. Wifey says, what if church members were this honest? What would church look like?
I am that honest.
You are that honest, but is church folk really that honest?
Not all of them. Not all of them. Not all of them. I think church would be better too. Can you imagine? I like it. Okay, for me, I'm just like, you know why I think my page does so well is because I'm transparent. Because I talk about being homeless, my divorce, diarrhea. I don't know what we talking about, but I mean,
yes, you talk honest and blunt,
honest stuff. So, and I think people relate to honesty. Some people relate to the dream. A lot of people relate to the dream, but there are a ton of people that just relate to, I've been there. And if people were in the church more honest about who they are or who they used to be, I think a lot of people would come to the church. Honestly, I just feel like that. And even a lot of people don't come to the church because they feel like everybody knows up in the church. Not a lot of people are talking about they were sleeping with Brother Johnson in the back of the alley. To be you. So I feel like if more people were comfortable with who they used to be and the transformation that God made in them, then you would have more people coming to the church, because a lot of people feel like they stuck sleeping with Brother Johnson and they're never going to get out of sleeping with Brother Johnson, and that's just going to be who they are and what they do for the rest of their life, and nobody really understand me. You hear so many people talking about God can't transform or God can't change me. No. But yes, you got people in the church that used to be low down and dirty, but they never talk about it.
I get that. And Peter says a lot of pastors would be stepping down if church members were that honest. He really said that. And that would be true, because we've already seen a couple of pastors here in the DFW area step down. And there was another one that just stepped down here in DFW. It was a Caucasian pastor at a church, and he had to step down based off of some sexually explicit messages he was sending to his congregants, his women congregants, and it was multiple women. And so he stepped down. So it's been several in Dallas, Fort Worth that have been kind of going through that. And so my wife also says, and being honest, if they are still getting through something.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. I think we forget, like we talk about this all the time, like the church is the hospital, and it's a lot of sick people in there in their Sunday best.
Yeah.
And we forget that. And I think sometimes even for us, sometimes Tim, we got to fix our gaze, because sometimes we look at the church like the church should be the holiest place, holy ground. But that's not what the church is. It's just the gathering for people that believe like you. That's really all it is. And a lot of them are sick, just like you. And I think sometimes we come from the club and we go to the church and we be like, why y'all look the same way as the club? We be like, because this is the hospital. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in here. Didn't y'all tell me to come? So yeah, I think sometimes we have to fix our gaze. But I think for pastors, for sure, people in leadership, people that are in roles where too much is given, much is required, and they should be the husband of one wife, not polygamy. All of those things that you're supposed to do.
Ooh, you brought up polygamy.
You should be carrying yourself a certain way. It should be no longer you who live, but Christ that lives in you. So when people come to the church, they can see what God can do. And sometimes you got to step down if God ain't did it. If he ain't did it, you might not be called. You might have called yourself. I don't know. Okay.
That's true. That's a good point. I like it. All right. So Dallas to be announced. What we got, Tam?
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hear ye. Tim and I are coming to Dallas. We don't have the date yet, Tim. We do not have the date yet, but we're going to be in Dallas live. Yes, live in person. Okay. We're going to be out there. We're going to host a show. We're going to answer y'all questions. We're going to have a conversation, a little back pew conversation in Dallas. And we would love for you guys to be there. So as soon as we get the details on the dates, we're going to send out flyers. And we hope to see you guys there. We want to meet y'all. We talk to y'all online. We want to see you in person. So yeah, we expecting you to be there. You ain't got no choice. Okay, sorry. Okay.
You have no choice. It'll be a great time. We'll definitely make it super interactive, super fun. So tickets will be available on Eventbrite coming soon. So we will be putting everything together for you guys, and we'll be getting back to you soon. So really excited to do a live show with you guys coming up soon. It's going to be super lit. Right, Tim?
Gonna be litty because we living in truth. L.O.C.S. With that being said, if you want us to come to your city, go ahead and let us know what city, so we can, maybe come to your church, have some conversations, and invite people out in your city. We'd love to travel. We are going to be traveling. We're going to be in Dallas. We're going to be in Atlanta. So we need some other places to go. So if you need us or want us to come to your city, definitely let us know. But we definitely hitting up D-Town first. So super excited about that. But we are at our final thoughts, Tim. So what you got?
We're going to start with Megan Thee Stallion. Once again, she performed at Kamala Harris's rally in Atlanta. Wasn't a good look for her, and it wasn't a good look for the campaign. She also is Indian. At the end of the day, should it matter? No. You'll still find people that'll still poke holes in her story, her heritage, and who she is. But we should all take a page from her book and accept her for who she is and who she wants to be, who she wants to support, what part of her lineage and heritage she would love to share. Those are all within her right. Women have to protect their man. The brother said so many things that was mumbo jumbo, didn't really get to the point until maybe there was a 45-second video, maybe within 40 seconds of the entire thing, we fully start to understand them. However, it's not a woman's job to protect a man. It's a man's job to protect a woman. And we need to conduct ourselves in the best way possible in every part. The man should conduct himself the right way with integrity. Same thing with the woman. Why do women intimidate men? That's a loaded question that I'm sure different men here in 2024 would love to answer, but I would just encourage you men to change the mentality. It is not intimidation. It's more so pressure. If you with a good woman and she got her head on straight, she got her career on straight and everything else, you just always want to step your game up. And so there's always going to be inherent pressure to step your game up. It's just a part of life. It's part of being a man. It's a part of reclaiming our masculinity, because if you look all around you, our heroes are Black heroes. Where they at? Where the Black heroes at? Where the Black masculine men that you could look to and say,
Wait. Did you try to flex?
No. You on wrong idea. No, it wasn't even about that.
We were having a serious conversation.
No, you got jokes. But no, where are the real men? So we're already being emasculated as Black men. Don't use women intimidation as another reason to be emasculated.
Right, Tyler Perry. Oh, sorry.
Woo. Man, we're gonna talk about him next time. He told his wife what he had a work wife that was Susan was bringing them spare ribs and barbecue beef ribs to work. Rather that was a real, or if it was a real or fake skit, the bottom line is if you are in a relationship, don't have nobody just exclusively cooking.
Don't tell them. Just eat the ribs.
And the single person will tell you, don't tell them. It's not a big deal.
How would they know? They're never gonna know.
Men, if you want to live another day with your wife, don't accept any food from another woman at work. Stop calling her your work wife. The whole nine, please. Okay, I'm just saying that. And then we also talked about, being abused as a child. And of course, both Tam and I have experienced it on different levels. Would just say we encourage you to get the help, support, therapy that you need to move forward. Peter says, Tim, please put those guns away. Concealed carry only. Oh my gosh. Y'all are wild. And then also, last but not least, just about Dallas. We're looking forward to you guys joining us here in Dallas. This will be the first stop, but we're looking forward to you joining. So those are my final thoughts. Last but certainly not least, Tam, what are your final thoughts?
Okay, let's get into Megan Thee Stallion. Why was she there? Why Kamala? Why? Kamala Harris is Indian. Duh. We already know. we already know that. She's also Black as well. Okay, so she doesn't have to have her fist up every time she walks in the door, guys. All right. Women have to protect their men. What scripture is that? I just believe people be out here making up stuff. That is nonsense. We know women don't have to protect men, even though we protect y'all egos sometimes. Praise the Lord. That's another topic. Why do women intimidate men? It's a question the world may never know. Okay. I don't know why men do what they do. I've told that, women are the emotional ones and stuff. I don't know why we would. Is our existence bothering you? Like, what is it? I don't know. But clearly we do. When we have more than what the person thinks we should have, somehow that equates to intimidation. Or if we're a little bit stronger in areas where we should be soft, as my brother Tim said, that may intimidate a person. But you know what? Women keep being strong and soft and bossy and educated and resilient and caring and all the 12,000 things that men want you to be. Good Lord. And don't worry about it. If they're intimidated by who you are, they are not for you. His wife he told his wife what? We talking about the ribs now. I've already told you guys, like, the next time you go to work and your coworker says, I made pancakes. You want one? You say yes. And you don't tell your wife or your husband. You just eat the pancake and you go to work because you need sustenance. Does your wife, your husband, they don't want you to eat? They don't want you to eat? I mean, I don't see what the problem is. But there again, I'm single. Don't get divorced because of me.
Please don't. Don't.
Tam said, because I'm going to deny. All right. All right. When did you find out you were being abused as a child? I think a lot of people walk around and they don't know that they were abused as a child. They think because they weren't SA, they think because they don't have any Black eyes that they've never been abused. But I would just challenge people that walk through life and they're like, something's just off. Something just feels off. And I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know what it is, but I feel like either something in me is missing or I'm grasping after something that feels unattainable. No matter how much I get promoted on my job, no matter how much money I make, something is still missing. Like, what's up? Maybe you need to go to therapy. Maybe you need to go unpack some things. And I know a lot of people be like, oh, they're going to ask me about my childhood. Yes, they're going to ask you about your childhood. And if you're being honest, they might be able to unpack some things that you just didn't even identify that you have been holding on to or that have been instilled in you that had nothing to do with your purpose or who you were created to be. It just stifled your growth in some way. So I would absolutely highly recommend therapy or a mentor, or, people like different things, but an outlet with somebody that will give you sound advice and also give you the ability to have tools to do the work. Not just, I'm gonna tell you what to do, but you also got to do the work. It's grueling work. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be painful, and you're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations. Is being too honest a problem in relationship? No, I don't think so. Tim said you have to say it in a certain way. Whatever. If it's your best friend, listen. If we friends, I should be able to ask you. Like, if I'm on a date and I say, "Have you ever?" No, I ain't gonna say that.
What you? Oh, you know what? I want to know.
No, we don't get
What are you asking on dates?
I asked everything. You hear me? From the rooter to the tutor, I asked.
So, what's the question? Give me one question that you asked.
Like, what type of question? Regular question or out there question?
Out there question.
Oh, I for sure. I asked if have they ever been with a guy. I do ask, and then I say it's 2024. I have to ask. I have to.
Put that disclaimer out there. It's 2024.
Listen, when I say that, they understand or they don't. And honestly, I've had a guy tell me yes before.
And is that an instant turn off for you?
Absolutely. Next. What do you mean? Is it? Why is this a question?
Hey, I'm just saying. We're not gonna go there tonight.
Listen,
no, we're not gonna go there tonight. I forgot you was married to who again?
I'm married to Jesus.
Now she's married
to Jehovah Jireh.
Married to Jesus now. She is fully abstinent.
Married to Jesus.
3 years going on in November, right?
Let's
absent anniversary is like she literally is married to Jesus, y'all. She is
married to Jesus for a while.
A while.
Until my husband come and say, I'm him. Listen, I'm fine where I'm at. I'm right here on the sidewalk. I ain't in the streets. Don't Hercules me. Me and you will never part. Lord. All right. Dallas. Be there. I got to talk to you like a pastor. Be in the place when we get there. Sometimes you just got to be in the place. You don't want to miss the move of God. Okay. All right.
Just scared people away. They ain't coming.
Lord. Lord. All right. That's all I got for tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to me and my brother's podcast here on the Back Pew, where we enjoy these conversations, these cutting up conversations. Good Lord.
Hey, we like that. Hey, he said this is the best topic of the night. You're talking about the abuse one. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And he also said if y'all come to Baltimore to be more, let a brother know. Definitely. We might be doing that soon. So we'll keep you posted on that too, my man. But like my sis said, thank y'all so much for coming back to the Back Pew, coming back with us. We back in season 3 right now. So thank you guys so much for coming back to season 3 with us. Thank you for joining the conversation. Thank you so much for subscribing and just being a part of the movement that we have here. So much love to you guys. Thank you so much. Have a blessed night. Tam, take it out. What else we got?
We'll see you next week here every Tuesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time. If you're new here, like Tim said, go ahead and click that follow button or click subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put replay. And if you watch us live, guys, we appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Until then, we are out. Bye.
Peace. Yo, what's going on? Back Pew.
We got so much to talk about this week.
You know.
We can unpack like these conversations. See a pedicure.
You would do
Depends on his feet.
That could be my own cheating. What's up? What's up, Tam? We in person? We not back conversations. What's going on? This
The Tim and Tam Talks. He be doing this stuff on purpose. You here? Go ahead and click that follow, subscribe button, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We everywhere.